The capture of Iwo Jima was the final stepping stone for us in the Pacific. The Japs had their backs against the wall, and they fought like it. But we'd learned never to underestimate them, and we slowly and methodically cleared Iwo Jima of every foxhole, bunker, and tunnel. After a month of fighting, we took the island and thought only a few hundred Japs remained alive there. Amazingly, almost 3,000 were still on the island, hidden deep in their caves and surviving on scavenged rations. Most of these soldiers committed ritual suicide rather than surrender. The capture of Iwo Jima gave us an airfield that put mainland Japan in bombing range of our B-29s. In the air above Iwo Jima, I got my final revenge against Kenji Komoto, the leader of the Goryeo Squadron. He flew well and fought with honor. I felt good as I watched his plane disintegrate. Even before the capture of Iwo Jima, we were launching firebombing raids against mainland Japan. One single raid of 208 super fortresses razed 16 square miles of Tokyo. But the Japs wouldn't surrender. So another 310 B-29s firebombed Nagoya, and still they wouldn't surrender. So we firebombed Osaka, Yokohama, Toyama, Nishinomiya, Shimonoseki, Kure, Kobe, Amuta, and on and on. Firebombing raids killed almost 500,000 civilians in 70 cities, and still they wouldn't surrender. We had only 2 weapons left. On the 6th of August 1945, the Enola Gay lifted off from the Tinian Island, flew to Japan, and dropped the first wartime A-bomb, Little Boy, on Hiroshima, destroying 90% of the city. And still they wouldn't surrender. 3 days later, the Boxcar dropped the smaller second bomb, Fat Man, on Nagasaki, destroying 30% of the city. 6 days later, Hirohito surrendered. Finally, the war was over. The dead piled high on each side. My brother was in our pile. The war took 5 years of my life. Scores of friends who didn't make it back took my brother and separated me from my family. Back home, people made sacrifices. They gave up their husbands, brothers, and sons. They scrimped, they saved, and they contributed to the war effort every way they could. We all paid the price to save the world. And it was a cheap price to pay.